Welcome everyone. In this lecture, we will discuss the early experiments which were conducted regarding photosynthesis to find out what are the raw materials which are required for photosynthesis, why light is required, why carbon dioxide is required, why water is required, glucose is the end product, oxygen is a byproduct. All this with a series of experiments we came to know. All those experiments we will discuss now. In NCERT, in topic number 13.1, they have given what do we know. 13.1, they have given what do we know about photosynthesis. They have given what do we know about photosynthesis. In this, they have told that two simple experiments they have mentioned here. The first experiment is called as variegated leaf experiment. What is the first experiment they have given in NCERT? Experiment 1 under this topic 13.1 is variegated leaf experiment. The first experiment is variegated leaf experiment. In this experiment, what do you mean by a variegated leaf? Variegated leaf means a leaf which is having green color patches and other colors also. Means like a croton leaf. In croton leaf, we have a green color patch like this. Right? We have a green color patch like this. And other colors also, different colors also will be there on the leaf, right? So such a type of leaf is called variegated leaf. Such a type of leaf is called variegated leaf. So this is a simple experiment. What they have done is they have taken a variegated leaf. Now this variegated leaf containing plant, this plant is kept in dark. It is kept in dark. Why did they keep in dark for some time? Why did they keep in dark for some time? Means when you keep the plant in dark for some time, whatever starch is there, the starch reserves what are there will be used off. Because in dark, plant cannot do photosynthesis. If it is not doing photosynthesis, then it will consume the reserve food material, all the starch will be used off. So checking that all the starch has been used off, then we will take the plant. From the dark, we will take the plant, and now the plant is now exposed to sunlight. The plant is now exposed to sunlight. Now we will expose the plant to the sunlight. Variegated leaf containing plant is now exposed to the sunlight. So when we expose the plant to the sunlight, what will happen? Tell me. Photosynthesis is done. Photosynthesis is done. When the plant has done photosynthesis, means it has prepared glucose, it has converted the glucose into starch. Then after that, what they have done? They have done ethanol treatment. They will do ethanol treatment. So what is the necessity of doing ethanol treatment? So when we treat it with ethanol, then the process of photosynthesis stops, and then nutrients will not be mobilized. They'll be there in their places as it is. After doing ethanol treatment, then we will treat the leaf or the variegated leaf. We'll treat now the variegated leaf with iodine solution. Now we know that iodine reacts with starch and changes the color of the starch. Now if the photosynthesis is done, starch will be there. That starch reacts with the iodine what you have given, and it changes the iodine into blue colored solution. Then they saw that this is the leaf, right? This is the leaf. What they have noticed is, so the green colored parts will get exposed to the sunlight, and the green parts of the plant only will have chlorophyll. That chlorophyll only can trap the sunlight, convert that sunlight into ATP. That ATP only can convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. No. So this green part has taken the sunlight. Only the green part has done photosynthesis, has accumulated starch. Now when you give iodine, this colored one, green colored one will turn blue colored one. So where the green colored portion is there starch will be there, and that starch reacts with iodine and blue colored will be formed. Blue colored indicates the presence of starch, right? blue color indicates the presence of starch, whereas in the variegated leaf, where blue color is not there, where other colors are there, that other colors will not trap the light. They will not do photosynthesis. They will not accumulate starch. If starch is not there, they don't react with iodine. Then they'll not change the color. So they'll be as it is. They will be as it is. Now this variegated leaf experiment, what does it tell? Tell me, what is the variegated leaf experiment? We have taken a croton type of leaf in which green colored is there, non-green colored portion is there. So what is this, children? This is the green part of the leaf. And what is this? This is non-green part of leaf. This is the green part of leaf and this is the non-green part of the leaf. The variegated leaf experiment shows that the green part of the leaf will absorb sunlight. After absorbing sunlight, it will do photosynthesis, and it will, after doing photosynthesis, what it will do? It will prepare starch, and that starch reacts with the iodine solution and changes the color of the iodine solution, right? So iodine color changes to blue. If the iodine color changes to blue, it indicates presence of starch. It indicates presence of starch. Now where is starch present? Starch is present in the green portion of the leaf. Starch is not present in the non-green portion of the leaf. So this is one experiment with the variegated leaf. And another experiment is, we can take again the same variegated leaf. We can take again the same variegated leaf. So let us take the same green portions. This is green portion and green portion, and non-green portions also we will take. So these are non-green portions. So this time what we are doing is, we will cover partially the leaf with black paper. We have taken the same variegated leaf and partially we are covering. This much portion of the leaf is partially covered with black paper. So this much portion is partially covered with black paper. So when you cover this portion with black paper, light is not absorbed. Light cannot go inside. When light is not going inside, even though the green colored portion is there, light is not there. When light is not there, it cannot do photosynthesis. Now when we partially cover the variegated leaf with the black paper, and then when we expose the leaf to sunlight, we're exposing it to sunlight, then it will do photosynthesis and it will accumulate starch. Now how will you check the presence of the starch? By treating with iodine solution. By treating with iodine solution. This time when we have treated with iodine solution, what happens? Tell me. This time when we treat with iodine solution, this part it is having green, but still it cannot prepare photosynthesis. It can't do photosynthesis because you covered it. It's not exposed to light. When light is not there, then photosynthesis cannot be done. So only this portion starch gets accumulated and this portion starch gets accumulated because this is the exposed part. This is the exposed part to sunlight. So only here and here, only these green portions photosynthesis is done, whereas this portion, this is non-green, it will not do photosynthesis. And even though we have green here, since we covered it, this green area was not absorbed to sunlight. It did not accumulate starch. No starch. So this is the significance of variegated leaf experiment. Such a simple experiment. What is the inference of the simple experiment? Only green parts of the plant will perform photosynthesis in the presence of the light. Where shall I write the inference? I am writing it here. What is the inference of variegated leaf experiment? Only the green parts of the plants will do photosynthesis in the presence of light. So the conclusion is only green parts of plant absorb sunlight. They absorb sunlight and they do photosynthesis. They accumulate starch. Hope you understood this experiment. Take a screenshot. We will continue with experiment number 2. Right, children? Now this is a simple experiment which tells that the light is absorbed by the green color pigment and the end product is starch. How did you check the presence of starch? By treating with iodine solution. Now the second experiment, they will ask you in questions, what is the conclusion you draw from variegated leaf experiment? Our conclusion is green parts will absorb light and they do photosynthesis. Green parts will absorb light and they do photosynthesis. Now the second experiment under the same side heading in NCERT, what they have given is experiment number 2 now. It is called Moll's half leaf experiment. What is that experiment called? Von Moll's half leaf experiment. Now in this experiment what we need to do? Take the plant. Right? So take the plant. Now half of the leaf is kept in a bottle or in a beaker. This much portion of the leaf is kept inside the glass bottle. It's kept inside the glass bottle in which cotton is there. What is this? Cotton. Cotton absorbed with KOH. Now KOH dipped cotton you have kept inside the glass bottle. What will this KOH absorbed cotton will do? It will absorb carbon dioxide. It will consume the carbon dioxide. The cotton absorbed with KOH, what it do? It will absorb carbon dioxide from the bottle, from the glass bottle, right? Now this is the setup. That's why it's called half leaf experiment. Half of the leaf is exposed to sunlight. Half of the leaf is exposed to sunlight. The remaining half also, since it is glass bottle, the sunlight can still go. The sunlight can still go. Light is there. Okay. So here also green color is there. Here also green color is there. Light is there. Green color is there. But CO2 is not there inside, right? Because CO2 is absorbed by the KOH. So inside no CO2. But this one, it can take atmospheric CO2. The outside portion of the plant can take atmospheric CO2. Now, expose the plant for sunlight for some amount of time. After that, what we need to do? After that, plug the leaf. After that, plug the leaf and treat with iodine. Treat with iodine for the presence of starch. For the presence of starch, we want to see which portion of the leaf has done photosynthesis and it has accumulated starch. Now come on, tell me, this portion of the leaf, the initial portion of the leaf, which can absorb sunlight, which can absorb carbon dioxide, right, which is green in color, will do photosynthesis. This portion will do photosynthesis and it will accumulate starch. When you add iodine, it reacts with iodine and this portion of the leaf turns green, blue. because when starch is there, starch reacts with iodine and changes the iodine to blue colored solution. So half of the leaf became blue. The remaining half of the leaf, excuse me, it is green in color. But then light is also going, but carbon dioxide is not there. Carbon dioxide is only reduced to carbohydrate, no. But KOH has absorbed that carbon dioxide. So will it give blue color with iodine or no change in color? No change in color. The remaining half which is there inside the bottle, so no carbon dioxide. Since there is no carbon dioxide, no photosynthesis, so no starch. If there is no starch, no change in color. No change in color. There will not be any change in color. Now what is the inference? As we discussed, they will ask you what is the inference of variegated leaf experiment. What is the inference of Moll's half leaf experiment? The inference of variegated leaf experiment is green part of the plant will absorb light and it will do photosynthesis. What is the significance of Moll's half leaf experiment? Carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. The inference is carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. Understood, children? This is the second experiment. Take a screenshot, then we will continue about the next experiment. Right, now we will talk about the next experiment. It's called bell jar experiment, right? Now that comes in NCERT under 13.2 early experiments. Under that side heading, they mentioned the remaining experiments. Experiment number 1 and 2, they mentioned under what do you know about photosynthesis. Under 13.2, they have given early experiments. We'll follow them only. Now the next topic is 13.2. Early experiments. Under that, we are going to discuss experiment number 3, which is called as Joseph Priestley's bell jar experiment. The experiment number 3 is called as Joseph Priestley's bell jar experiment. He conducted this experiment in 1770. Joseph Priestley, when in 1770, he performed a series of experiments. He performed series of experiments. He made 2 setups, right? So we'll talk about setup 1. We'll talk about setup 1. In setup 1, he has taken a bell jar. So bell jar will ensure a closed conditions. He has taken a bell jar. Now in this bell jar, he has taken a candle. In the bell jar, he took candle. So he lighted the candle. Right, and the setup shows that there is a mice also. The setup shows that there is a mice also, right? So he kept a mice and a burning candle in setup 1. Now after some time, what did he notice? He noticed that inside this bell jar, after some time, inside this bell jar, now the burning candle, it got extinguished, right? It got exhausted and it turned off. It turned off, right? It's not burning. And then he also observed that the mice got suffocated and it died. He also observed that, right? the mice also died. Here it is alive, here it turned off, it died. So mice got suffocated and it died. And he also saw that the burning candle, right, what happened to the burning candle? Burning candle, it got extinguished, right? So let us write down, the mice died. And what happened to the burning candle? Burning candle got, right, the burning candle got extinguished, it also turned off, right? So this is his first setup. Now next setup he did, so in NCERT children they have given it as A and they have given it as B. Now next one, he has taken a setup 2. Now in setup 2 again he has taken the same bell jar. He has taken the same bell jar, but this time along with the burning candle and mice, he kept a mint plant. Along with these two, he kept a mint plant. Right? So now come on, tell me what happens. He has also taken a mint plant here. He has also taken a mint plant here. Now what happens here? After some time we will observe. He did not notice much significant change. They are as it is. He did not notice much significant change. All three are as it is. The mint plant is very much good, right? The mice is pretty alive. The mice is alive and the candle is still burning. The candle is also still burning. Now, what did he tell here in setup 1 and in NCERT they have given us C and D. What is the inference here? What he has given? And children, what is the inference here he has given? Now, here the inference what he has given is, he told that the mice and the burning candle has consumed the air and then they have removed. What did they remove from here? They removed oxygen. Without oxygen, mice cannot live. So that's why it suffocated and it died. Burning candle also, what it will do? It consumes oxygen and it releases carbon dioxide. Using that carbon dioxide, the mice got suffocated, it died, and the burning candle also turned off. So he told that the air got fouled, right? So burning candle and mice, he told that burning candle and mice, they have damaged the air. Somehow they have damaged the air. Somehow they damaged the air. Because the air got damaged, in that damaged air, mice is not able to survive and candle is not able to turn on. Whereas here he told the burning candle and the mice, whatever they have taken from the air, the plant has released it and the air became normal now. Because of that, the mice is alive, the candle is still lit. Okay, and come on, tell me, what will this mice do? The mice will take O2 and it releases CO2. Burning candle also will take O2 and it releases CO2. This CO2 plant will take. This CO2 plant will take. Sunlight plant will take and it will do photosynthesis, plant is growing. So they are benefiting with each other. See, they are exchanging their gases and they are benefiting with each other. So that's why nothing happened, it remains as it is. So why did the Priestley has taken mint plant? Why not some other plant, That also they can ask us. Mint is a shade loving plant. With little amount of sunlight also it can survive and it is efficient in doing photosynthesis. So what did he tell? What is his conference inference in setup 2. He told that plants restore to the air whatever burning candle and the animal has consumed. The inference here is plants restored the air. What did he tell? He told plants restored to the air what the burning candle and mice consumed. What did they consume? Later on we know, at that time oxygen is not known, carbon dioxide is not known, the process is not known. So at that time he just told whatever the mice has consumed and the burning candle has consumed, that plant has restored it. Plant will take carbon dioxide and plant what it will release? It will release oxygen. With that oxygen, mice also will be alive and candle also will be turned lit only. Now come on, tell me, what is the inference of variegated leaf experiment? What is the inference of variegated leaf experiment? Plants will restore the components back to the air. Plant will restore the components back to the air what the burning candle consumed and what the mice has consumed. But listen carefully, here they don't know it is oxygen and carbon dioxide. They don't know it is oxygen and carbon dioxide. Even though Joseph Priestley in the year 1774, he discovered oxygen. He discovered oxygen, but he don't know that the plant releases oxygen and mice and these two are consuming oxygen. He don't know that mechanism, even though in 1774 he discovered oxygen. Right, children? Let us again see what is the third experiment which comes under early experiments conducted by Joseph Priestley. They are called as bell jar experiments. He conducted a series of experiments to reveal the role of air in the growth of the plants. Now, when the plants are subjected here, when the air becomes pure here, they are growing more because they are releasing carbon dioxide and they are growing more. He revealed the role of air in the growth of the green plants. Where shall we write? Priestley revealed the role of air in growth of green plants. Green plants, they take carbon dioxide from the air and then using that carbon dioxide they prepare carbohydrate. Using that carbohydrate they grow. He has conducted a series of bell jar experiments and this was the conclusion he has given. Take a screenshot. We'll continue with experiment number 4. Right. So we have seen 3 experiments. Now it should be experiment number 4, which was conducted by another scientist. His name is Jan Ingenhousz in 1779. Priestley conducted experiments in 1770, right? And in 1774 he discovered oxygen. But he did not tell that plants, they do photosynthesis and they release oxygen as a byproduct. He did not tell that. He just told that plants will restore the components to the air what burning candle and the alive mice have consumed. That statement only he told. Now, experiment number 4 were conducted in 1779 by another scientist. What is his name? Jan Ingenhousz. Jan Ingenhousz. He continued Priestley's experiment. What did he do? He continued. He continued Priestley's experiment, but for some time he kept it in the dark, the same setup. For some time he kept it in the light. So what did he do? So he kept the same setup. The same setup, he kept it in dark, and later on he kept the same setup in light. He kept the same setup in light. Now we know that in dark, even if plant is there, plant is not doing photosynthesis, right? If it is not doing photosynthesis, it cannot release oxygen. If it is not releasing oxygen, then there is no use of the plant here. That is what he told, the role of light for the plant to do photosynthesis. Now what did he do? He kept the mice, right? Now in dark, what happens? The mice will die. In dark, what happens to the mice? The mice will die. And what happens to the burning candle? Burning candle also will turn off, even though the plant is there. Even though the plant is there, the candle turned off. And what happened to the mice? The mice died. Why? Because when you keep it in dark, plant is not doing photosynthesis. When we keep it in dark, plant is not doing photosynthesis. No photosynthesis means no oxygen release. No oxygen release means without oxygen they cannot survive. So that's why they will die off. Whereas when you have taken the other one, you are keeping in light. You're keeping the same setup in light. So plant is taking the sunlight. It's taking the sunlight and this burning candle. So what it will release? Burning candle will release carbon dioxide. And what will the mice release? Mice also will release carbon dioxide, candle also will release carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken by the plant, and what will the plant do? Plant takes the carbon dioxide, does photosynthesis and releases oxygen. With that oxygen, the candle will be alive, the mice will be alive. So then in the presence of light only photosynthesis is done. So he showed that sunlight is essential for photosynthesis. What is the inference here? Children, come on, tell me, what is the inference here? He showed the presence of sunlight during photosynthesis. Even though the green plant is there, only when sunlight is exposed, then only it can do photosynthesis. Then only what it can do, it can purify the air. Showed the presence of sunlight during photosynthesis, which can purify the foul air. Who fouled the air? Who released carbon dioxide? The mice released carbon dioxide, burning candle released carbon dioxide, and it fouled the air. And who is purifying the air? The plant is purifying the air. When is the plant purifying the air? The plant can purify the air only in the presence of light, not in dark. Not in dark. This is a beautiful experiment which tells that light is required for the plant to do photosynthesis and to release oxygen. One more elegant experiment he has done. So, in another elegant experiment, what did he do? In another elegant experiment, he has taken an aquatic plant. He has taken an aquatic plant. And this aquatic plant in bright light, the aquatic plant in bright light, what it will do? It will do photosynthesis. When it will do photosynthesis, then it will prepare starch and it releases oxygen, right? Oxygen is a byproduct. It will do photosynthesis and it releases oxygen bubbles. It releases oxygen bubbles in surrounding water. What is another elegant experiment he did? He has taken an aquatic plant. In the bright sunlight, this aquatic plant, he told it is doing photosynthesis and it is releasing some bubbles into the surrounding water, and he later confirmed that this is oxygen. That means Inzen van House is a person who told that oxygen is a byproduct during photosynthesis. Priestley couldn't tell that. He just told that the plants will restore whatever they consumed. He did not tell that, but Inzen van House, he proved that oxygen bubbles are release of oxygen bubbles, and he also proved that to be oxygen. Okay, whereas the same aquatic plant in dark, when you keep the aquatic plant in dark, no photosynthesis, so no bubbles. No photosynthesis, no bubbles, right children? So first experiment, variegated leaf experiment. What it will tell? Variegated leaf experiment will tell only green parts will do photosynthesis. Second one, Moll's half leaf experiment. What's the significance or inference of Moll's half leaf experiment? Carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. Third experiment, Priestley's bell jar experiment. What does he tell? He told that the plants in the presence of sunlight, they will do photosynthesis and they will purify the air what the burning candle and the mouse has been consumed. Now the similar setup was continued by Jan Ingenhousz in the year 1779. He subjected the same setup once in dark, once in light, and he told in dark, even though you keep same setup, nothing difference, the mice will die and the candle will turn off because plant is not doing photosynthesis here. When you expose it to the light, then only it will do photosynthesis, then only it will release it, right? So that's what he told, like showed the presence of sunlight during photosynthesis. Light is required. The plants will take the light and then they'll purify the air. In another experiment, he told plants are doing, the aquatic plant is doing photosynthesis and it releases the bubbles into the surrounding water, and that bubbles are oxygen bubbles also. He confirmed it. Take a screenshot. We'll go into the other experiment. Alright children, now our next experiment is experiment number 5, conducted by another eminent scientist, Julius von Sachs. Now, Julius von Sachs' name we heard with hydroponics in mineral nutrition chapter. He is the same scientist here. So, in the year experiment number 5, 1854. What is his name? Sachs. What did he tell? He told that glucose is the product of photosynthesis. What did he tell? He told that plants absorb light, they will do photosynthesis and they will prepare glucose. He told that plants do photosynthesis and they produce glucose. They produce glucose, and he told this glucose is accumulated or stored in the plant as starch. He told that the glucose gets converted to starch and is stored as starch granules. He told that this starch is stored as, how is it stored? It is stored as starch granules. He also observed the green colored pigment which we now call it as chlorophyll. He told that the plants contain a special pigment, green colored pigment, which is called as chlorophyll. At that time chlorophyll name was not given. He told there is some special pigment in the plant which we now call it as a chlorophyll, is present in a special structure called chloroplast. He also observed that. He also observed that plants contain, who is talking first time about the pigment? Sachs. Plants contain special pigment. What is that special pigment? We now know it is chloroplast. He told that this special pigment is present in structures. What are those structures? We now know that those structures are called chloroplasts. We now know that those structures are called chloroplasts. He told that the starch is prepared here in the chloroplast and starch is stored in the chloroplast. So the first point is, he told plant will absorb light, will do photosynthesis and it will prepare glucose, and that glucose gets converted into starch. That's the first point. The second point what he told is, The second point what he told is plants contain a special pigment. The pigment is called chlorophyll. That chlorophyll is present in special structure. The structure is called chloroplast. The third point he told, plant will do photosynthesis here, means in the chloroplast, and they will manufacture glucose in the chloroplast. They'll store glucose also in the chloroplast only. The third point is Sachs proved that photosynthesis occurs in chloroplast. He told that photosynthesis occurs in chloroplast. He told that glucose is produced in chloroplast. He told that glucose is produced in chloroplast. He also told that starch, glucose gets converted to starch and starch granules are stored in chloroplast. He also showed that starch granules are stored in chloroplast, children. See, step by step we are doing one experiment after one experiment. This is the fifth experiment. It is concerned with the product of photosynthesis. What is that? Glucose is the product. Where does the photosynthesis happens? In a special organelle called chloroplast. What does that organelle contain? A pigment called chlorophyll. There the light is absorbed and that light will convert carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. That carbohydrate is called glucose. It gets stored as a reserve food material called starch. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right? Now experiment number 6 was conducted in the year 1888 by another eminent scientist. His name is T.W. Engelmann. Experiment number 6 was conducted in 1888 by T.W. Engelmann. Now, he designed the first action spectrum. Engelmann, what did he design? He designed first action spectrum. Engelmann designed first action spectrum. What did he do? He has taken an green algae in the water body. Right? He has taken a green algae in the water body. Cladophora. So what is this? A green algae which is called Cladophora. And he subjected the green algae to the white light. We know that white light, visible light, is a spectrum. Ranges from VIB, GYOR. Different colors are there. So what are those colors? So one is violet, indigo, blue, green, VIB, GYOR. So he subjected the Cladophora to different wavelengths of light. So from here the sunlight is coming. From here the sunlight is coming. He passed the sunlight through a prism. He passed the sunlight through a prism. Now what will prism do? Prism will convert the polychromatic light into monochromatic light. Prism converts the polychromatic light into monochromatic light. It splits the light into individual wavelengths. It has split into violet light, indigo light, blue light, green light, yellow light, orange light and red light. So, and then he wants to see in which wavelength of light more photosynthesis will be done. How is he checking the presence of photosynthesis? Means more the photosynthesis, more the oxygen gets evolved. So that means more bubbles should be there. He is checking the process of photosynthesis. What is he doing? He is checking the rate of photosynthesis with the release of oxygen, and this oxygen is consumed by an aerobic bacteria. More the oxygen, more the growth of aerobic bacteria. The bacteria will grow in those regions where more oxygen is released. He observed that when he exposed the green algae Cladophora to different individual wavelengths of light from violet to red, he saw that the aerobic bacteria accumulated more at two wavelengths. One is at blue, other one is at red. He saw that at one is at blue wavelength and the other one is at red wavelength. It seems the photosynthesis is more, photosynthetic rate is more. That means oxygen release will be more. When oxygen release is more oxygen is evolved, more aerobic bacteria will grow, and the bacteria has accumulated more. The bacteria has accumulated more in this wavelength, whereas other wavelengths bacteria are very less. The other wavelengths bacteria are very less. So after taking this, he has drawn the first action spectrum. He drawed the first action spectrum. What did he take on y-axis? What did he take on x-axis? So wavelength of light, he took it on x-axis, and on y-axis he is checking the rate of photosynthesis. Then he saw that so this is VIB, okay, VIB, GYOR. One is at blue wavelength, other one is at red wavelength. What it has taken? It has absorbed more light. It has absorbed more light and it has done more photosynthesis. It has released more oxygen. Aerobic bacteria growed more. So what is this spectrum called? Action spectrum. At violet light, its growth is less. Indigo light also, it is less. At blue light, it has absorbed more. Means the action spectrum is matching with the absorption spectrum. It's absorbing more blue wavelength. Since it's absorbing more light, it can do more photosynthesis. It's doing more photosynthesis, it releases more oxygen. If it releases more oxygen, more aerobic bacteria will grow. That's why I showed here in the blue region, aerobic bacteria growed more. Again in the red region, aerobic bacteria growed more. Understood, children? This was our 6th experiment, right? The first experiment is variegated leaf experiment. Only green parts will do photosynthesis. That's the inference. Second experiment is Moll's half leaf experiment. Carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. Third experiment, Priestley's bell jar experiment. He tells that the mice and the candle will turn off when we suffocate it in a closed container. When plant is there, the plant will restore the components, he will tell. Next one is Jan Ingenhouse. He told plant can do it only when you keep it in the presence of light, and he told that plant will release oxygen during photosynthesis. That oxygen, only taking that oxygen, mice will be alive and the candle will be on. Then the next experiment is, after this we went with Sachs experiment. Sachs is a person who told the product of photosynthesis is starch, and the starch is made in the chloroplast, starch is stored in the chloroplast. Then the next, the 7th experiment is Engelmann experiment. Engelmann has drawn the first action spectrum. He has taken a green aquatic alga called Cladophora. He subjected that alga to spectrum of light starting from violet to red, and he saw that at which wavelength they will absorb more light and they will do more photosynthesis. His conclusion is at blue wavelength and at red wavelength the photosynthetic rate is more. The photosynthetic rate is more. He checked the presence of photosynthesis by measuring the growth of aerobic bacteria. More the photosynthesis, more the oxygen, more the aerobic bacteria growth. The remaining part of the experiments will continue in lecture 3. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Thank you.